さんこんにちは。今回はビレッジセラーズ初めてのルーインのオンラインセミナーです。コロナ禍の影響でワインメーカーの訪問が中止になってしまっても、皆さんにワインを楽しみ続けてほしいと思い、今回はルーインのワインメーカーのティムさんにはオーストラリアから、そして日本若手トップソムリエのイグロタクさんと吉田雄太さんには東京から参加していただきました。では最初にルーインの醸造家のティム・ロヴェットさんです。Hey Tim, would you like to introduce yourself to the crowd?
Hi, my name's Tim Lovette. I'm the senior winemaker at Lewin Estate. Today is about taking you on a journey through our estate in its history, but also to take you on a vintage vertical tasting of our flagship Art Series Cabernet, looking at numerous vintages overall and discussing where we are, where we're positioned and what we're looking for and how we curate that in the winery and how we express that. Super exciting tasting in a slightly different medium. I think it was actually meant to be in Japan. So it's great to be able to be in contact and to show you our wines and to tell our story.Thank
you, Tim. では続いて2019年ルーインエステート The Art of Fine Wine 賞を獲得されたイグロタクさん、2020年に同じ賞を獲得された吉田雄太さん、それぞれ自己紹介をお願いします。
こんにちは。私、銀座のロージエというレストランで働くソムリエのイグロタクと申します。ルーイン賞っていうのは私2019年にいただきまして、もともとその若手ソムリエ向きのスカラシップの副賞ということで、ルーインのみならずウェストオーストラリアのワインをこれからどんどん日本でご紹介していくということで、ありがたいことに賞をいただきまして、本来であれば今年の6月に行く予定だったんですが、この COVID-19 でちょっと行けなくなってしまったので、今回このようなウェビナーを開いていただけ大変嬉しく思います。よろしくお願いします。
はい、皆様はじめまして。私、フォーシーズンズホテル東京大手町でシェフソムリエを務めます吉田雄太と申します。今イグロさんが説明していただいたように、私もルーインエステートの賞をいただきまして、今こちらにさせていただいております。今日は素晴らしいワインなどご用意していただいたことに感謝して、精一杯皆様にルーインエステート、そして西オーストラリア州の素晴らしさを、伝えていければと思いますので、よろしくお願いいたします。
はい、皆さんありがとうございました。では、ルーインエステート初めてのオーディエンスの方もおられると思われますので、まずはワイナリーからいただいている素敵なワイナリー紹介のビデオをご覧ください。
Margaret River was just a little place in 1969 when we bought the property, and we had to take it somewhere. We had to get people to come down here. We met Robert Mondavi in 1973. He became our advisor in putting Lewin Estate together. Fine wine, food and art. Wonderful combination.
I think having a vision in any business is incredibly important, and I learned that from my father. Being a chartered accountant, he of course needed a mission statement, and that mission statement was then and still is today to produce wines that rank with the best in the world through the pursuit of excellence. We're now into our second generation as a family business. We work with a fantastic team of people who every day come to work trying to make sure that we get the absolute best fruit out of our vineyard, making sure that we look after that fruit, we nurture it, we capture those flavours, and we try and present what is made in this vineyard through in our bottles.
For me, Lewin is very much the success of wonderful relationships between our family and the team that we work with at Lewin to make these great wines, to produce the food in our restaurant, to bring the concert events alive, to create the art collection that's on our Art Series labels. And when you see all of those components come together, at the end of the day, it's all based around our family and the extended Lewin family. And it's a great privilege and a great thing for all of us to be involved with.
Being part of Lewin for the last 30 years has probably been the most exciting time of my life. I watch the buildings change and the trees grow taller and the wines just continually get better and better. I think it's just been an evolution of quality since day one.
Families are so important in the wine industry. If you look at the great wine industries around the world, They've all come through family companies.
And when you look back and reflect, when we talk about buying this property in 1969, how lucky were we to be in the right spot at the right time and be involved in an industry like the wine industry from its very beginnings.
素敵なところですね。では次はティムさんにルーインエステートでのビニヤードやワイナリーの状況を語っていただきましょう。
Where we're positioned is really the pedigree and the identity behind our wines. So we're 350 kilometres south of Perth, Perth being one of the most isolated capital cities, if not the most isolated capital city in the world. Then we're in the southwest corner of Western Australia. So we're bound by the Indian Ocean and the Southern Ocean. So we have a Mediterranean climate, but a very heavily maritime influence. So what that gives us is a really consistent weather pattern that runs throughout the growing season, whereby majority of our rainfall, 80% of it, falls within winter, so it's highly seasonal, but we don't have a lot of rainfall in the period leading up to the determination of harvest. Dennis and Tricia Morgan purchased the property in 1969, and that was shortly after the first vines were planted in Margaret River in 1967 at a producer by the name of Vas Felix. They didn't have any intention of planting out at that time a 1,000 hectare property to vineyard, and it was only under the mentorship of Robert Mondavi, who was very much firmly the mentor of the establishment of the Yarra Valley. He was looking at a new venture in the Southern Hemisphere. Robert and Dennis led the original plantings, which were in 1975. So the site that we have at Lewin, it's now 668 hectares, and of that 135 hectares of that is under vine. So not every specific site is suitable for vineyards. So what we're looking for is soil structure, firstly. So we have lateritic, iron-rich gravel, is initially Precambrian bedrock, so 750 million years old, so super ancient. And then in the tertiary, it washed away to create these beautiful pebbles, and that kind of gives our soil free-draining nature overall. And with that, there's a clay subsoil that hosts nutrient and gives that into the vine itself. So you have this beautiful ocean, almost what's behind me at the moment, in its capacity, and you have these free-draining soils and this heat summation, which is not unlike Bordeaux in terms of the temperature that they see, which gives rise to Bordelais varietals. But further with that, the thought between Dennis Horgan and Robert Mondavi was to plant Chardonnay, and that coincided with Bob Cartwright, the first original or the original senior winemaker of Lewin Estate, and established the first Chardonnay vineyard. The focus with Art Series is about creating wines that rank with the best in the world. They're wines that share opulence, but also age-worthiness. So when I look to determine harvest for Art Series Cabernet, for instance, it's really about, for me, it's physiological tannin ripeness, because in the skins of Cabernet is where all of your colour, your tannin and overall flavour is built upon. Great wines are born in the vineyard. They're not made in the winery. What we do in the winery is really protect and nurture what we see and be able to articulate and convey that throughout the whole winemaking process to a point where we see the wine in the glass overall. Art Series Cabernet, in a similar vein with the original plantings, initiated with the Horgan family under the mentorship of Robert Mondavi. The original Cabernet vines were planted in 1975, and drawing that timeline back, we have Block 8. With that, the original plantings non-irrigated. Where we exist in Margaret River is in the central southern part, which tends to have a little bit more of a cooling effect during daytime temperatures. So what we're really focused on here is maximising the amount of sunshine hitting the bunches, and the real key message there is to get physiological tannin ripeness. So when you have a non-irrigated vineyard, your berry size becomes smaller, and this is what I was mentioning before, is the fact that all of your tannin, all of your colour, flavour overall is bound up in the skin. So if you have a smaller berry size and you're going into ferment, you will unequivocally have more concentrated characters coming through. And I don't think that there's one identifiable wine that shows more colour than Art Series Cabernet, especially from Margaret River overall, and seeing how it continues on with its age, which is obviously part of our mission statement with Art Series. So with that, there's a few parcels, but they're all kind of planted maybe 200 metres away from each other. So it's Block 8, Block 9 and Block 10. That's the real backbone behind that. It's run on one foliage wire. So that means that your canopy is hanging out from the side, and that lets all the sunlight in from morning to afternoon. So we're not necessarily hand leaf removing. We're actually just letting the Cabernet bunches really kiss the sun all the way through from the morning to the afternoon. Because of the fact that it's non-irrigated, the vines are really well buffered, and it's we're picking a lot earlier than some of our northern allies or producers. We're actually picking a couple of weeks earlier than them overall, and really what we're trying to find and chase is those tannins and that grip within the skins without conveying any herbaceousness or any kind of green characters, because as soon as you capture that, then that carries on into the wine. So we need to be very patient with Cabernet, especially when you move on in the season. Cabernet sugars tend to go up really quickly, but then the cool nights come in and then the sugars will plateau, and then we're just waiting for the tannins to really be in balance. And that can be a little bit frustrating because you want to kind of pick everything, but at the same time you need to have that due diligence to ensure that you achieve the optimum result overall. Forwardly in the winery, we hand harvest everything. We sort obviously out because it's hand bunch selection in terms of hand picking, and then from there forwardly we individually berry sort. So what we're doing is we're ensuring that the perfect whole berry goes in and is processed into a fermenter. So the fermenters are static or closed fermenters, whereby they're not open fermentation. But what I want to have is assurance that as soon as fermentation is finished, that I can leave Cabernet on skins for those tannins to really silken and soften out. So after individual berry sorting and processing, what I'm looking to do is for about 5 days, not inoculate or not introduce yeast into fermentation, because what I want to do is stabilize color and tannin without the presence of alcohol. So I'm looking to extract water-based polyphenols, which is, they're very different compounds to what you would extract, one in the process of fermentation, but two post-fermentation. So looking to stabilize those colors firstly, and flavor and tannin. And then as soon as we hit that mark, we would say cold soak at 10 degrees. Then we would initiate fermentation where we can extract different polyphenols which interact in the presence of alcohol, because that's what the fermentation process is about. Following that, post-fermentation, if you were to taste a Cabernet ferment in the lab bench, the tannins are fierce, like they're angular. And that's what you want, firstly, because that's your foundation. But what you want to do then is work on those tannins, which are like that, and really draw them out and be quite silky overall. And that's what will give you, one, balance, elegance, but second, or thirdly, longevity overall. And malolactic fermentation in barrel, 50% Portolo Coopered French oak from, I use 7 Coopers this year. Coopers will provide aromatics, will provide structure, they'll provide tannin, but each one in a different level and a different scale. And the rest of it, 1-year-old at 50%, those 50% new, 50% 1-year-old, and we'll do assemblage in November, and the total time in barrel is about 22 to 23 months, depending on the year. So it's not a recipe. Like on a cooler year where maybe you don't have the flesh and bones around the wine or the frame, you might kind of pull out Cabernet a little bit earlier. But on the bigger years, you might leave it in a little bit longer. So it's really about being proactive overall. It's not about being reactive. It's about how you see the environment, how you see the weather, and act accordingly. And that's articulated in the vineyard and is implemented, and then it carries on through for a whole 2-year process thereafter.
Tim さん、非常に丁寧に説明してくださりましたが、皆さん楽しんでいただけましたでしょうか？他にも2020年のヴィンテージの状況、ルーインエステートの将来などを語っていただいたのは第2話のシャルドネのビデオでお楽しみできます。また、イグロさんと吉田さんとの Q&A セッションでは、第3話のボーナスエピソードで楽しんでいただけます。ではこれからカベルネのテイスティングに入ります。カベルネは比較的柔らかな2005年をはじめに、そしてもっとタンニンがしっかりした2015年を次にという順番でティムさんが行ってくださり、続いてイグロさんと吉田さんのコメントをお聞きすることができます。ではどうぞお楽しみください。
You know, Cabernet's Margaret River is Cabernet. We're established based upon this kind of synergy with Bordeaux in terms of free draining soils and heat summation, similar to that, this kind of ocean or maritime influence. And, you know, this is what we do in Margaret River is produce Cabernet that has such incredible personality, and it's not just richer, riper, darker. It's about expression. It's about perfume. It's about that what I would say is the aromats. It's you know, it's that kind of bay leaf, or it's the dried sage, or it's the kind of violet, lavender notes. But it's balanced with this kind of dark core of black fruits in kind of dark cherry and black currant. And that's what I'm looking for in harmony on the nose, and with that forwardly onto the palate. Cabernet, it's so tactile. Like there's so many different layers to it. You know, you have this energy of fruit at the front of the palate, and then it kind of stretches, almost kind of narrows a little bit to this kind of mineral graphite thread, and then you kind of feel the fruit come back, and that's when you know you've got the best parcels of fruit, because that's what Cabernet is. And then when it polymerizes and it's in the bottle and the bottle age, you have this incredible softness, and it's silky. There was so much energy put in from Lewin Estate, led by Paul Atwood at the time, senior winemaker, and David Winstanley, still current viticulturalist. And it was about really shifting away from more of the aromats to more of the balance between a dark core of fruit and aromats at the same time, because Cabernet will always have that. You know, I think that's the beauty and the pedigree and foundation of that particular varietal. 2005 as a particular vintage, one of the most epic vintages that we've had on a Cabernet throughout the Capes. So the Capes are 100 kilometres north to south in the Margaret River wine region, and then 30 kilometres east to west. And every producer in Margaret River in 2005 made an exceptional 2005 Cabernet. And this goes down to me. So the preceding vintage of 2004 was also great, but it was really warm. So there's a lot more flesh and meat around the bones and more shape. This is more ethereal and fine and really details a great vintage. 2015. So a moderate to cooler vintage. So we're seeing more of those aromatics being expressed on the nose. Maybe I think the density of the darker fruits is more prevalent in the 2005. So we see heightened aromatics, fragrance, perfume, and I think that's really quite intense on the nose. And I think the fruit spectrum on this one is more in more of that kind of red, dark cherry spec overall. I think maybe the colour's a little bit lighter for me as a hue in the glass than what the 2005. I think 2005's got maybe some more bolder, more can't really say that word, but more generous oak as a thread, and this displays more elegance and vitality and energy on the palate. So I think two very distinctive wines, 10 years apart, and I think it really details, firstly, the capacity of the age that Art Series Cabernet has, looking at 2005 being 15 vintage or 15 years from harvest, and you're looking at something which has a little bit more youthfulness with the 15. But I think I think the biggest thing that we're looking for is that balance and that elegance and that purity, and almost kind of chasing that kind of mineral thread through the mid to back palate, and that what will happen there, it'll grow and it'll unfold as a thread. So I think it has, for me, when I think about 2015 Cabernet, it just has such beauty to it. And it really does showcase the pedigree of Cabernet. And what I was saying before is it echoes and mirrors the vintage conditions more than most other varietal. And I think it's clearly detailed in the two wines that we're looking at.
ティムさんのワインメイキングへの情熱がしっかり伝わってくるワインの解説でしたね。ではここでイグロさんと吉田さんのワインの印象、そしてワインの楽しみ方などコメントをお願いします。
2015年でもっとタンニンがグッとくるのかなと思ったんですけど、すごく滑らかで溶け込んでいて、これがやっぱりマーガレットリバーの一つの特徴なのか、早いうちからタンニンが溶け込んでいくっていうのが、やっぱり世界中でカベルネをやってる中でもそういう特徴が一つあるのかなっていうのと、2015と5年でどっちかというとエイジングしてる方がタンニンとかが溶け込んでインテグレートしてるような感じがあるのかなと思ったんですけど、実は逆だったっていうのが僕の正直な印象で、5年の方がちょっとパウダリーな残るようなタンニンがあって、実際15年の方が果実と一緒に溶け込んでるなっていう風に感じたのは、もしかしたらティムが10年から入ってワインメイキングが少し変わったのかもしれないですし、ヴィンテージの特徴かもしれないですし、すごくその辺興味深かったですね。
はい、僕が飲んだ感想なんですが、シャルドネの飲んだ瞬間から元気はつらつ、ブドウのエネルギーをドンと感じるのに比べて、カベルネソーヴィニヨンの方はどちらかというとじわーっとその良さであったり特徴であったりというのをゆっくりと伝えてくれるような印象なワインだなと思いました。口に含んだ瞬間、まずそのブラックベリーだったりチェリーといった果実味から始まるんですが、その後にスパイシーなニュアンスがあったり、甘やかなスパイスの香りがどんどん層のように出てくる そして樽のクリーミーさが出てきたり、味わいにおける酸の、口の中をキュッと締めるような味わいですとか、非常にイグロさんもおっしゃってましたが、溶け込んだタンニン、非常に細かくて、よく売れた印象のタンニンが特徴的なワインだなと思いました。要はシャルドネのドンと比べると、カベルネはじっくりじんわり飲んで楽しみたいワインだなという印象でした。そうですね、このカベルネ楽しむためにやっぱり食事に合わせるとするならば、簡単に焼いたお肉に焼いたお野菜をというわけではなくて、やっぱりちょっとガストロノミックな感じで、少しいいお肉、牛だとすれば和牛だとか、あとは羊だとか、そういうレストランで食べるような、お肉におソースですね、シンプルな赤ワインソースでもいいと思いますし、あとはちょっとそのフルーツの部分を引き立てるために、胡椒の効いた、ブルーベリーなどを加えたソースなどと、楽しむのがいいのかなと。あとはもう完全に僕の、想像の世界なんですけど、暖炉の前にソファーがあって、その暖炉のパチパチっとした音を聞きながら、ゆっくりと寝る前に大切な人とゆっくり飲むのもいいワインじゃないかなと思います。
それは難しそうだね。
You mean that log fly there?
Tim さんのお家ではまだ10歳にもならない娘のシアちゃんが暖炉の火をテキパキとつけてくれるそうです。偉いですね。ではワインを楽しみながらアートシリーズカベルネに対しての Q&A をまとめてご覧ください。
このセッションを見る方ってオーストラリアのカベルネっていうとなんかユーカリがいっぱい割ってるからもしかしたらちょっとユーカリプトスっていうかミンティーな感じの香りがあったりするのかなっていう想像したりもしてると思うんですけど、そのあたりってどうですか？中にはワイナリーにおいては畑の周りのユーカリの木全部切っちゃうっていうワイナリーが聞いたことあったりとか、そういうこともちょっと聞いてみたいなと思いました。
We don't cut down trees to minimize eucalyptus is probably the direct answer. But eucalyptus tends to really come from underripe Cabernet that is grown in the wrong location. So any Cabernet vineyard which is established correctly will not be planted in areas where it shouldn't be. And we've got such amazing landscape and free draining soils that there is so much opportunity. So I don't typically see many Margaret River Cabernets showcasing that eucalyptus note. I think it's more about the Coonawarra has mintiness, and some people might call Margaret River having an Aussie bush eucalypt character, especially if you go to the US, because they're used to things with a little bit more flesh and layers and maybe a little bit more alcohol and slightly different country of origin of oak. But yeah, it's just portraying the site that we see.
I want to ask you about the clone. Houghton clone? Houghton clone.
Horton clone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the clone makes one of the uniqueness of the Margaret River. Could you explain briefly about the Houghton clone?
What the Horton clone really portrays characteristically via DNA is it has this big tannin structure, and that's what you want. It's kind of like gin in the fact that with Chardonnay it has volume and capacity and concentration, yet it has this drive. And the drive for gin is like the tannin structure for Horton clone. And it's what we call Horton selection. Now, obviously, roll on a few more decades, we've now been able to isolate Horton because it was all a bit of a puzzle in terms of what was really being captured. So we've now got Horton Selection 5 and Horton Selection 20. There's 10 as well. We've been doing new plantings there. But Horton is all about tannin structure. The other clones that are based in Margaret River, there's SA125, SA126, which comes from South Australia, funnily enough. But they're more textural. They don't have that kind of drive and tannin structure. There's 337 and 338, which are newer plantings in Margaret River. Their origin, to the best of my knowledge, is Bordelais. And then we've got some Italian clones entering in. But the predominant clone for Cabernet in Margaret River is Horton Selection. And all of the vines that have gone into that wine is Horton Selection.
私が思ったのが、2005年ですかねの方がものすごくこうまだフレッシュだなと、若いっていうのが僕の一番の印象ですかね。それはもちろんこの酸をちゃんと残したまま、ワインに仕上げたっていうこともそうだとは思うんですが、スクリューキャップでワインを仕上げてるっていうのもその理由の一つなのかなと。こうスクリューを、使い続ける理由と、あとちょっと今目の前にボトルが各ヴィンテージであるんですが、ちょっとスクリューの形に変化が見て取れるんですね。少し空気を通すようなスクリューを使い始めたのか、はたまたこうただメーカーが変わったのかはわからないんですが、ちょっとスクリューに対してもこだわりがあったりするか聞きたいです。
Yeah, so the difference is you've got knurling on the 2005, which is the lateral lines that come down on the actual screw cap itself. And on the 2015, you have a neater with no vertical lines. So you can see there's a minor colour difference, but what the no knurling gives us is a cleaner finish overall. It's nothing qualitatively. It's just that with the presence of the vertical lines in the 2005, it looks a little bit distracted, and with the 2015, it looks a little bit neater and cleaner overall. So in terms of the effectiveness of the actual screw cap itself, it performs exactly the same with that. In terms of the performance of screw cap over cork, I will never go back to cork, because what I've said from the outset is about translating what we see in the vineyard to be able for you to enjoy what we have in the glass. And there's too many variables, there's too many parameters that undergo cork. And although the cork may have improved because there's so many people that have gone away from screw caps, obviously there's supply and demand here. There's less demand, so your quality is going to go up. I get that. I understand that. But it's still variable. It's still semi-impermeable. So with a screw cap, I have the assurance that what goes into that bottle is what you see that comes out of that overall. And that's what we're in is about. And that comes back down to a really traditional and really romantic thought of conveying the vineyard into the glass.
これで第1話アートシリーズのカベルネのテイスティングウェビナーを終了します。楽しんでいただけましたでしょうか。次回はアートシリーズシャルドネのテイスティングに加え、2020年のヴィンテージの状況、ルーインエステートの正体などを語るインタビューもあります。ぜひまたお会いできるのを楽しみにしております。では次回まで。See you soon!